What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online, sportstalk1051.com. You got your Google and Alexa home devices. Video stream also up and rolling. Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to that YouTube page over there. Twitter and Instagram. Appreciate you making us a part of your start on this Tuesday of May 31st, May 21st. Getting excited for that Express night there. What do we got on the game plan for us this morning? Speaking of the Express, we will kick off our Express segments today, Eau Claire Express segments, now that their season begins officially under a week from now. General Manager Sammy will be joining us shortly past 8 o'clock here this morning, helping preview the upcoming season and some promotions and the games, and including telling us what project they're working on completing over at left field there at the Carson Park, I should say on the third baseline over there at Carson Park at the baseball field. So make sure you're tuning into that in case you were wondering. Maybe you saw some photos that they've been kind of teasing about over there on their Facebook and Twitter pages and such. So, but it's baseball season around here. When no, I should got high school going on here too, and obviously their seasons are starting postseason and such, and we've had some CRBL action going on in that, but now we finally get the Express season underway officially under a week from now. By the way, the Division One high school brackets were released yesterday too, so you got Memorial as a 4 seed. You got North as a 5, Chi High as a 6, Menominee 9th seed on there. Speaking of baseball, Brewers falling last night to the Marlins 3-2. The Brewers had a 2-0 lead. By the way, see that sweet play by Christian Yelich there, stealing home base, but wasn't enough. Joe Ross had to leave the game early after about just 15 pitches due to a low back strain, 1 inning in. So Brewers going to the bullpen early. And Brewers had that 2-0 lead going into the bottom of the 7th. But that's when things started to chip away. Marlins putting up a run. Marlins tying it up in the bottom of the 9th, 2-2, and then winning it in extra innings in the 10th inning there. Brewers had chances, especially later on, 9th and 10th inning, but not able to get another run across the board or runs across the board. And they dropped their first game of this series to the Marlins. Tonight's first pitch, 5:40 for the Crew, and coming up tonight for the Brewers, getting the starts. We're gonna see Robert Gasser for the third time. 2-0, .82 ERA to begin his career. Can he continue his fantastic start to his young and hopefully long career? So we'll preview this game, recap the loss from last night as well. So we'll hit that up coming up here in a little bit. It is also a Grind My Gears Tuesday, ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. So don't forget, you can hit us up with some texts of what's grinding your gears. All right, get it off your chest. Share it with the rest of the class here. Just make it appropriate so I can share it on the air, if you will. So send those puppies on over with a quick text, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Packers OTAs began yesterday, but the media gets to check them out today and such. So media availability is today. So if you got the social medias, Twitter/X, you're probably going to see some photos, maybe some videos and such like that. So what do you think are some of the biggest storylines? And I know it's just OTAs, all right? I realize that. I'm not trying to hammer home practices and organized team activities and such. But considering how the season went last year and kind of their offseason here too, and you got a new defensive coordinator in, what are some maybe the storylines or some of the things that you're going to be kind of perhaps paying attention to the most in OTAs? I mean, there's a few of them. I mean, we've got Jair Alexander being at OTAs this year, right? As far as I know, I don't think there's any holdouts like Justin Jefferson with the Vikings, which I know there's a rumor going on social media is that he was like spotted outside of the Jets practice facility, like he was in New York and that, and there's like videos and photos and all that. I'll be honest, I I I mean I've tried to look it up, and why I mean I did look it up and try to like see if this is a legit thing and all that, and it's there's really nothing out there, but I'm sure there's maybe some Vikings fans kind of freaking out about the possibility that he could be traded, and I honestly don't know how the Jets would be able to pull it off, considering that they would have to give him a huge contract and make him the highest paid wide receiver out there. But I guess never say never. So that's you got to hold out there, and obviously there's some more across the league, but I don't believe there is one for Green Bay at this point in time. But remember last year too, OTAs, Jair didn't show up, which was kind of a little bit of a head scratcher at that time because he was foregoing like almost $250,000, or excuse me, $750,000, like over $700,000 in off-season workouts. And then it's like story came out that he likes to work out on his own at the facility, so he was there before OTAs and then he left during OTAs. It was just kind of weird. And then we saw the kind of weird year with Jair Alexander, but it seems like now he's fully on board and he's with the team and such. So I mean, you've had some stuff happening in the offseason, but how the team finished at the end of the season too, you know, factoring that in, what maybe are some of the storylines here? Maybe it's like your view of what maybe what the team views as the number one offensive line right now, like the five best. Maybe you're kind of curious to where you see how this team views that. Is Morgan going to get reps at number one left tackle? And if that's the case, is Walker somewhere else, or is he a backup? Is Zach Tom at center? Maybe your storyline is, how is that going to shake out, right? Or what's the first glimpse of how that offensive line looks? And then with that, I kind of want to throw a poll question out there for you, okay? Kind of just a question that will lead into a little bit of a discussion, but we know Green Bay's got an incredibly young wide receiving group. Their veterans are third-year guys of Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, rookie last year, great year. Dontavian Wicks flashed as well. In Green Bay, I think you can make the case since, the 90s, maybe started off with Sterling Sharp and such, have had some really good receivers. I mean, you want to go a little bit earlier, James Lofton, then Sharp, and then Brooks, and then Freeman. I mean, you go down the list of Jennings, Driver, Nelson, James Jones, Devontae, Cobby, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know that list, right? But of these youngsters, I don't know if we could call them full-on youngsters now anymore, but of this wide receiving group, who do you think is going to be the next, like, dare I say, great Packers receiver? And I'm not saying that, it's going to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer by any means. But, that list I just gave you, I mean, they had some pretty darn good Packers careers, and those guys are or will be Packer Hall of Famers when their careers are all said and done. Cobby will be in there. Devontae will be in there. Jordy's already in there, and the other ones I listed. But which of these receivers, these Packers receivers, whether it's Watson, whether it's Dobbs, whether it's Jaden Reed, whether it's Dontavian Wicks, who they seem to be really high on, and again, he flashed a lot last year, and there's some talk that maybe he could be the number one. Like that's his ceiling right now. That there's a lot of love for Dontavian Wicks. Which of these youngsters do you think, if you were to buy some future stock, all right, buy some future stock and into these, and you're like, oh yeah, that stock is going up big time now. Who do you think will be that number, because I don't know if they got a number one right now. Maybe they view Watson as a one, but he's got some injury concerns there. Can he stay healthy? Dobbs, I think, is just Mr. Consistent. I don't know if I'd say he's a number one. Is Jayden Reed a one? Is Wicks a number one? I do feel like sometimes maybe we tend to, as fans, over exaggerate number one wide receivers. I mean, you look at, for example, 49ers last year. I mean, you had Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk had over 1,000 yards, leading the team receiver. But then you look at a team like the Chiefs, you look at their receiver core, could you say they have a legit number one? Maybe not, but they won the Super Bowl. I mean, look at the two teams there. So I'm not necessarily saying you need a number one guy. You need a number one wide receiver, like, when they had Devontae, and that sort of stuff. But of these four that I listed, if you had to buy some future stock into them that you think it could be the next really good or great Packers receiver, and I know we've had a couple years with Dobbs and Watson, and we're just 1 year under with Reed and Wicks, but curious to see where the votes lie. All right, maybe I'll put that up on Twitter and Facebook and such. So, but otherwise, if you don't have those social media accounts, hit me up with a text. All right, okay. So we'll get to that here in a little bit. We'll catch up with RJ Cardinal from our sister station, The Zone in Madison. We'll chat some college sports, some football, some hoops, and all that good stuff. Maybe we'll get his thoughts on the Doug Gottlieb hiring at UW Green Bay, and potentially how would this affect maybe some in-state recruiting with the Badgers and such with basketball? Is it a good thing because now that they will be going up against Gottlieb, could it maybe force them to really be more aggressive on recruiting, or not to say that they haven't already, but we'll kind of talk to RJ about that and maybe get a little bit of reaction what it was like down in Madtown with that news there. So we'll hit that up coming up a little bit later on. We'll talk to RJ after we get done talking with Sammy from the Express to preview the upcoming Express baseball season. So plenty to get to here this morning. Let's we might throw a little Bucks chat in here if we got some time here too, because I know Jim Lazarski from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, friend of the program, he did a little Q&A in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel with some readers, some Bucks fans, and such, and we'll kind of go over his takes here too. He answers some questions like, what do the Bucks need to do? What do the Bucks need to do to win another title? Just another good question. I thought, did the Bucks hit their ceiling? Have the Bucks hit their ceiling? We'll get Jim's reaction and answers to that as well. So we'll maybe throw a little hoops chat in there too with the conference finals beginning tonight in the NBA playoffs. We get the Pacers in Boston up first. Edmonton, by the way, I'm still alive. I got my Stanley Cup pick there. Edmonton getting a Game 7 victory last night over the Canucks of Vancouver. So, all right, let's get things rolling here this morning. We'll get the leadoff going here, but start the conversation. Join us with a text or comment on the video stream. Whatever floats your boat here this morning. All right, I threw a few different things at you. I want to hear from you. So get her going. All right, pitter patter. Let's get at her. First break, and we'll get things rolling on this Tuesday morning. Coming up after these quick words. Next Friday, we're going to be doing the show from Carson Park ahead of our Sports Talk nights. So we're going to be over there early mornings, 6 a to 9 a. And then next Friday will be game time, game night going up against the Badlands there. So grab your tickets. Join us for Sports Talk nights on May 31st. May 31st. So, yeah, I think you can still win some tickets. Let me double check the website, see if it's still up there at sportstalk1051.com on the fan cave tab over there. Let me scroll down. Are they still got them up there? Still got them up there. So you still got some time. All right. Still got some time to sign up for that over there. All right. Maybe you'll win a pair of tickets. Never know. So should be a good time. Again, we'll catch up with General Manager Sammy from the Express shortly after 8 o'clock this morning, as the Express now officially under a week away from beginning their season opening day on Memorial Day this coming Monday. All right, Brian on the video stream already early this morning, chiming in saying, "What's grinding my gears?" Well, it's how the hitting of the Brewers has gone into a cold spell again. Runners in scoring position numbers are abysmal. Have to convert when we get base runners. Pitching hasn't been terrible, but we can't win if we can't get those runs in. Last night, the Brewers had a couple of chances. First of all, jumping up to a 2-0 lead. And they had some chances to tag on some more runs or take back the lead last night in the later innings there. In the ninth inning, Brewers should have scored at least a run in that ninth on a double. Remember, Jake Bowers hit that double. The ball got lodged under the right field wall, so Monasterio was forced to stop. That's at third base. The good old lodging it into the wall there. Bases were loaded. You had William Contreras up. Thinking, all right, he's got to at least got one it, right? He's the way, he's kind of been having the season he's been having, the way he's been hitting the ball. You're thinking, dude's at least going to get one in. 2 outs though, and he flied out on the warning track. So they still had an opportunity in the 10th. Christian Yelich, he walked, which meant runners on first and second. Ortiz bunting them into scoring position. So 1 down. You got a runner on third. You got a runner on second. But Adames struck out and Gary Sanchez flew out. No runs across from there. And then the Marlins were able to get it done in the bottom frame of the 10th inning there. So kind of a frustrating night again for the later half of the innings there for the offense. Bullpen, got to give him credit again. Joe Ross getting the start. He only pitched 1 inning, only 15 pitches. So the bullpen was tasked to come in and fill the gap and log in a lot of innings. Koenig took the ball, Piams, Milner, Guerrero. So you got to give them a lot of credit. They were able to log in some innings there and help fill the void of Rossi. Only pitching 15 innings last night. Overall, the amount of pitchers that the Brewers used after Ross, I mean, you got Katie, you got Pipes, you got Miller, you got Puguera, you got Hudson, you got McGill, and then you got White there. So now you got Robert Gasser making his 3rd career start tonight. And you're hoping maybe the guy can go, 6 innings? Hopefully 6 innings tonight to alleviate some of the wear and tear on the bullpen. Might be a little bit of a tall task to ask for Gasser, who has been off to a fantastic start to begin his very young career, early career here. But that's got to at least be the hope, I would think, that he could go around 6 and hopefully, he doesn't get into trouble early. I think the worst case scenario here would be he's in trouble early. And, only lasts, definitely the worst case would be something similar to what happened with Ross last night. But you're hoping he's not like just throwing gas on a fire tonight and he has one of those outings and you got to go to the bullpen early again here. So hopefully Robert Gasser can go out there and eat some innings and log some innings there. But Weathers, we talked about him. When you looked at his record, it was 2-4, and like, oh, okay, 2-4, gosh. But when you really break it down, Weathers wasn't having that bad of a year. And last night, dude goes 7 innings, just giving up 1 earned run on 2 hits. That's a home run there to Andrew Monasterio, and he struck out 8. Doesn't get credit for the win. He gets a no decision. But nonetheless, he was having his way with that Brewers lineup that featured, Contreras was at the DH. Yelly got the start, but no Terang. He did come in as a pinch runner and such. But, you didn't have your typical top 3 up there with Terang being a base setter, and then, Contreras sitting in the second spot and Yelly over there too. But it doesn't help when, Contreras has an off night, goes hitless, struck out a couple times. Yelly, he got on base a couple times via the walk. I mean, your hits, you had Andrew Monasterio with half the hits, half the total team hits last night. 4 hits, that's it. And it came from Monasterio and Owen Miller, and then Bowers coming in later on in the game. That's it. I mean, the Brewers did walk 6 times. Yelich had 2, Ortiz had 2. But not a lot of offense production after that. Struck out a total 11 times compared to the Marlins, who struck out just 4 last night. Joey Wiemer activated off the injured list last night too, and he got the start, but he went hitless with the strikeouts over there too. So Brewers falling to 27-20 on the year, still first place in the NL Central. But again, big night tonight for Robert Gasser in his 3rd career start. The guy, a lot on his shoulders to go out there and eat a lot of innings. But the offense has got to help him out here too. Let's give him some early production. All right. Let's give the man some early production. Give him some help early on. I mean, he has shown to be calm, cool, collective in his 2 starts. But go out there and give him a, spot him a couple runs, spot him a few runs, and then, that'll allow him to maybe continue to be calm, cool, and collective a little bit. Rogers and other lefties on the mound. Trevor Rogers for the Marlins, and obviously with the Marlins, nobody's got any experience going up against Gasser. You got Adames, who's got 6 career bats against Trevor Rogers with a home run on there. Otherwise, that's about it. I mean, Contreras has a couple at bats. Sanchez, Yelich have a couple at bats over there too. But when you look at Trevor Rogers, he's actually coming off of his first win of the season, which was against Detroit back on the 15th. He went 5 innings, giving up 0 earned runs, striking out 6 and a couple of walks there. But overall, there's an opportunity for this Brewers offense to get it going and putting up some runs against Rogers. He has struggled in the month of May outside of that lone win against Detroit. If you go back to May 4th against Oakland, he lasted just 2 1/3 and 8 earned runs. Followed that up May 10th against Philadelphia, 3 1/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs. Then he bounced back in that game against Detroit back on the 15th and picked up his first win of the season. But even if you go to April, okay, 3 earned runs, couple earned runs there. March, and then one game he had 4 earned runs given up against Pittsburgh. Feel like there's an opportunity here for the Brewers to be aggressive and put up some runs early on Rogers, especially when you look at those 2 games in the beginning of May when Oakland and Philly got after him early, putting up some big runs and getting him out of that game. So I think there's an opportunity here for this Brewers offense to put up a big number and spot Robert Gasser with some early runs. Will they take advantage of that? Will they be able to do that? I mean, I would expect maybe a little bit more of a, it is another left-handed batter. So, I mean, they're going to put, a similar lineup to what they had last night. Terang, you'd like to see him back in the lineup to set the table and such. And I get it. You want to put, your guys in there that are better against lefties and such, but I think there's an opportunity here and you're probably going to see Andrew Monasterio get another start. He has hit lefties well, so he's probably going to get another start, whether that's at third or second like he was last night. So we'll see, but there's an opportunity. There's a chance that they can do that. He's got to take advantage of it. All right, put themselves in a position for another series win. Win tonight. Get to tomorrow for that series finale. Pick up a win, and then you get the off day. So, but no, I think I just answered your question, Evil. Monasterio hits lefties well, and they're going up against left-handed pitching, so that's typically why he's in the starting lineup. And to be fair, he got half the team's hits last night. He hit 2 out of the 4 hits last night. The only offensive production coming from the Brewers last night. So there you have it. A couple more texts coming through here. This is from Dave talking about the Crew. Excited to see what Robert Gasser has tonight in his third start here. I know the odds are probably that he's not going to have the type of start he did in his first 2, but I'm crossing my fingers that he can go out there and log a bunch of innings because this team needs it after last night's bullpen game. Another text here from Jim. Jim saying offense definitely had chances last night and they didn't capitalize on it. Hopefully they can take it. Hopefully they can get back to it tonight and take this game and get ready for another series win on Wednesday. Eric also chiming in on the texting line here with the Brewers. All right, we got a couple more texts here about Robert Gasser. Hoping to see another gem from Robert Gasser tonight. If he goes out there and has another start like he did in his first 2, is it too early to say he's the best starting pitcher on this team? I think it might be a little bit too early to say that, but you still got Freddie Peralta in there. Might be a little bit too early to say that, but I love the optimism. I love it. But man, if he goes out there and has another start like he did in the first 2 and had off to a 3-0 start, sub 1 ERA, man, Brewers could definitely use it tonight. Another texter here. This is from Seth. It looks like first time texter Seth. Also talking about Robert Gasser for his start tonight. Robert Gasser has been one of the more impressive players for the Brewers of all the youngsters to step up this year. I know it's only a couple of games, but he has done a fantastic job so far, and hopefully he's going to be a part of that pitching group that'll be around for the foreseeable future. I know we chatted a little bit about that last week when it came to Robert Gasser, but you got Freddie Peralta locked up for a couple more years. Robert Gasser, Aaron Ashby, they're still high on. He's working his way back from that injury last year that kept him out all season long. But you throw him in there, you throw Robert Gasser in there. I think they're still high on DL Hall. DL Hall might be a guy that, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Maybe he comes in, or when he does come back, he's going to be a little bit more of a long relief role, eating up some innings out of the bullpen instead of a starter, but they're still high on him. So, I mean, there's some young dudes here that, if you're looking at it from the positive side of things, you've got a formidable rotation, hopefully, in the next couple years here. Hopefully still led by Freddie. Brandon Woodruff, we'll see what he's got left when he does come back next year. Aaron Ashby, DL Hall, and then Robert Gasser, potentially, for next year. Don't want to talk about next year, though, because we're still in first place right now, all right? Still in first place in the division. But I know we got, another month and a half, couple months yet from the trade deadline. But, man, it sure looks like if the Brewers were going to make a move to acquire something, I would have to imagine it's got to be a pitcher, a starting pitcher. I feel like it seems too obvious at this point. With the amount of injuries that they've had, with the amount of different pitchers they've thrown in there and kind of converting bullpen guys into starters, got to imagine they're scouring some potential trades for some starters out there. All right, let's take a quick break here. I've got my ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday because it's related to the crew. It's related to the crew. So if you haven't got your Grind My Gears in, text it to us. We'll be back after these quick words. Don't forget to check out the Fan Cave at sportstalk1051.com because we're looking for our new fan of the month, our youth sports highlights. We want to highlight some of the kiddos out there from like kindergarten to 8th grade. Little leagues going on and such. So got a team over there that we want to give a shout out to. Memorial Day is coming up, so a lot of grilling and such. So if you got any backyard tailgates, barbecuing tips to be featured for the week, let me know. All right, send those puppies on over as well. We got the Weekend Warriors. A lot of things. We want to feature you. All right, we want to feature a lot of you. So head to our website, text it on over, email it to me on over, and we'll see if we can get you up there. Also, with turkey season, I know it's kind of starting to wrap up here a little bit, and fishing's going on here. Don't forget to send over your photos if you've had any luck for the Tilden Gun Trophy Board, Trophy Gallery at also at our website, sportstalk1051.com. Just click on the Outdoors tab over there, and you can check out the whole the whole trophy gallery right now. So, all right, let's do the little ASAP used auto parts grind my gears Tuesday. All right, ASAP used auto parts grind my gears Tuesday. I'm going. So I've been saying for the last few days here, that Mr. Contreras is the first quarter MVP in my opinion. You can call me a homer, I don't care. But for me, when I look at the MVP award for any sport, I think there's got to be there's multiple factors into this thing. And a lot of times when it comes to the MVP, it's just, leagues, voters give it to the player who's, maybe got the best statistics out there and such. But I believe there's got to be there's an element to it where, you take that player off that team, how different is the team? And I know that's hard to do, like when it comes to the NFL MVP, because, it's pretty much quarterbacks now. It's who's going to win it from a quarterback. And you take a lot of the quarterbacks off their teams, pretty much almost every team is, going to be completely different, and they're going to be pretty bad. But I think when it comes to baseball, you can almost use that argument for a lot of these cases. And one of those is the Dodgers. All right. I mean, they're loaded, right? They're loaded with players up and down the board. Well, MLB.com did a MVP bowl or MVP poll. Yeah, bowl, right? Wow. MVP poll. And so they did, the American League, Juan Soto's leading, no big surprise. Okay, he's got 28 first place votes. Kyle Tucker, the Astros, 6 first place votes. Yada yada yada. When it comes to the National League, though, they've got it. Mookie Betts, 23 first place votes. Shohei Ohtani, 18 first place votes as a DH. And then William Contreras received one damn vote. And to go to that argument about if you take that player off the team, how different would they be? That is literally their first line. Where would the first place Brewers be without Contreras? Bingo. The 26-year-old is hitting .341 with 7 homers, 37 RPIs, and a .954 OPS over 46 games this season. And he's done all that while catching more innings than anyone else in Major League Baseball. And if you factor in his 8 starts as a designated hitter, he hasn't taken a single game off all year long. Now, I don't want to discredit what Ohtani's doing offensively, because he's off to, you can say right now, maybe his best start of his career in offense. He's leading the majors in batting average, slugging percentage, OPS, hits, total bases, second in home runs. I get that. Okay. He's got 11 steals on there too. Mookie Betts, position change. And, he's got a 3.1 or 3.4 WAR. He's hitting .337 with 8 homers, .988 OPS. I get it. I understand. Those are great numbers. Those guys are having fantastic years. Okay. But they got a big time supporting cast over there, too. Literally, when I look at what Contreras is doing on a team, I mean, we came into this season with the expectations that, yeah, the Dodgers, if they don't win it all, there's probably going to be, Robert's probably going to get fired, new manager and such. I mean, they're trying to buy a championship. Let's be real here, okay? They're trying to buy it. We didn't know what the hell to expect with this Brewers team this year, which was kind of fun. It was kind of fun, not knowing what to expect. But Contreras is just blowing it out of the water, and he has no question been the main leader. And the fact, I mean, they're focusing on offensive numbers here, which I understand. But again, I will pound this too. Look at the job he has done with this pitching staff, calling some of these games, handling this pitching staff, a pitching staff that has been decimated by injuries and youngsters being thrown in there and bullpen guys asked to be, kind of converted into starters or outgetters. You have to factor in what Contreras has meant to this team, also with his catching duties and working with this pitching staff. One vote? It's ridiculous. Contreras deserves more credit, and he deserves more praise for the season he is having for this Brewers team. A guy who literally wants to play every single day. And because of the level he's playing at right now, he's forcing the hand of the Brewers to say, yeah, we can't sit this guy. His off days are DHing. He doesn't have an off day where he's just sitting and not doing anything. His off days are DHing. He's 26 years old, and he's acting like a veteran who's been around for almost 10 years right now. Contreras deserves more respect, more praise from baseball people outside of Wisconsin and outside of Milwaukee. Right now, to me, he's the best catcher in the National League. Maybe even all of baseball. I'll even say that too. Right now, yeah, that's what's great. One vote. I know it means nothing. It's the first quarter of the season. But, I mean, I think this is tracking to where we know who's going to probably win an MVP in the National League. It's going to be somebody from the Dodgers, the loaded-up Dodgers that is just printing cash to bring people over, to bring players over. That's what it's going to come down to. And, again, I don't want to discredit some of the fantastic numbers that Mookie Betts is putting up and Ohtani's putting up. I would freaking love to have both one of those guys on my teams here. But that is a loaded team. Contreras, you take him off the Brewers, how different is this team? I think it's quite a bit different. Not just offensively, but how he's managed a lot of these pitchers. That's my ASAP Used Auto Parts. Grind my gears. All right, coming up next hour, I threw this out at the beginning of the hour here in the opener. So we got day 2 of Packers OTAs today. And this will be the first day for some of the media members. All right, to be able to check it out and such. We've got storylines galore. I mean, you've got, some of the things that I'm interested in to kind of watch for, and it's only May, so I hope we don't have any overreactions, but we might have a little fun with it with some overreactions and such when it comes to OTA practices and news updates and whatever. But, for me, what I'll be kind of curious about to see is, okay, what is Green Bay's first thoughts, initial thoughts on what their number one offensive line is going to look like? Who's going to be, I mean, whoever they throw out there with that number one offensive line, they're the leaders right now, and it's their job to hold on to those spots. We know Jenkins is going to be at left guard. We know Zach Tom's going to be somewhere. But how's the rest of that stack up? So who's going to be the leaders in the clubhouse right now for that number one offensive line? Some other stuff, kind of looking at it. Again, it's OTAs. I don't want to deep dive into, practices with shorts and that sort of stuff. But, I mean, I think it's big too. Jair, last year, foregoing a bunch of cash. He's now with the team. I mean, this is going to be our first glimpse of a new style of defense. and such with Jeff Hafley, some new defensive coaches and that. How is it going to look? A little 4-3 action, a little 4-2-5 with a nickel over there. So, what are some of the storylines for you? But also, I threw out there, Green Bay has had a good crop of receivers for a while now. It just seems to have always been a feeder system, and there was a little bit of a lack in that a couple of years ago. I think that was one of the knocks on Goody. It was like, you had Devontae, but did he always have like the next guy waiting? Where Ted always had that. Ted Thompson always had that. So we've got a younger group, obviously led by Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs heading into their third year. Jaden Reed had a great rookie year. Dontavian Wicks flashed, and there's a lot of people who believe he could be like a stud, a really good receiver. But if you were to buy future stock in one of these Packers receivers, and I guess I'm kind of asking, who do you think is going to be the next, really good or great Packers receiver? Who do you think that's going to be? I mean, you want to make the case of by committee, no doubt, and I think I wouldn't mind that approach at all, by any means. But who do you think maybe is that guy that's going to separate himself, maybe just a little bit from the pack, if you will? That receiver that may separate himself a little bit. Is it still Watson because he's got the size and he's got the speed? But maybe he's not because you need to see him stay healthy. Romeo Doubs, I just call him Mr. Consistent. When I think about a number one type of receiver, he's a game changer type of wide receiver. Is Doubs a game changing receiver? I don't know. Not from what I've seen so far, and that's not a knock necessarily. Been pretty darn consistent, pretty darn solid. So hit me up with your picks. If you had to buy a future stock in one of these younger receivers, who would it be? Just looking at the receivers, don't factor in the tight ends. Wide receiver. So we'll hit that up coming up next hour. Just past the top of the hour here too. So text us 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or hit me up on the video stream if you'd rather do that. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram over there. All right. Also, don't forget, if you haven't sent over your ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday, what's grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Let us know. All right. Just make it clean so I can say it. I can say it on the air. And we might hit a little bit about a little Bucks chat here. I want to go through this Q&A from Jim Wazarski from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, friend of the program here, and a couple of questions that he answered from readers. What is the Bucks salary cap situation? Did the Bucks hit their ceiling? And what do the Bucks need to do to win another title? Some interesting thoughts from Jim. We're going to hit up a little bit later on here too. So we'll finish up the first hour though with Morgs. Good morning, Morgs.
How's it going, Kasper?
Good. You?
Not too shabby. Is Hudson excited for summer vacation, or is he one of those kids that likes school?
Like school.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yep.
So he's kind of bummed that they're coming to the end of it then?
Yes.
Now, do you and V, when your summer vacation food budget goes through the roof, do you notice how much kids eat when they're home on summer vacation?
He doesn't eat a lot.
No?
He's very limited in his options of what he wants to eat. So it's easy.
So he has like the usual kid menu.
Mm-hmm.
Let me guess. Nuggies?
Yep.
Pizza rolls?
Pizza.
Fries?
Yep.
What am I missing?
Mac and cheese.
Oh, okay. Mac and cheese.
Yep.
Well, then we might as well dig into some of the bowls of mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Spoon or fork?
Spoon.
Really?
I used to be fork, but now it's spoon.
Okay. Why do you change then?
Because you get more in the spoon.
Yeah, but I think the fork is a tidier way to eat mac and cheese. Don't you think? You
just
stab it a little bit.
I don't want to stab it. I just want to scoop it up, and then they fall off. As a kid, you could put the mac on the prongs or spigots.
Oh yeah, everyone does. Yeah, put them on the little ends.
Yeah. Now it's just get it over with.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what about ramen?
Fork
with ramen too. Now, do you let it get soupy or do you pour the water out? These are summer menu items.
I need a little soup on there.
Okay.
Little broth.
More noodles?
More noodles.
So it's not necessarily like a noodle soup ramen. No. You're doing more like
just need a little moisture.
Okay. Then on that note, maybe you saw this debate. This was maybe last week. I heard some people fighting on social media about it. Is a taco a sandwich?
No.
Okay. I thought that was pretty clear cut. A taco's a taco, right?
Hmm.
There were more people fighting and advocating for the sandwich argument than I would have ever expected. Because my thought is, you need two pieces of bread or something to make a sandwich. The same reason a hot dog, I guess technically it's bread in a sandwich, but the definition of a sandwich would be two pieces of bread.
So I'm glad you brought that up. What if I cut the hot dog bun in half?
Then it seems to read more like a sandwich.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's just like a suit. You're putting a suit on your
Hmm.
hot dog. But what about a taco then? Because a tortilla is not bread.
Yeah, taco is in its own element.
I was surprised how many
Yeah,
people advocated for the other side and said that it is a sandwich
no,
because technically, and
no.
then if you have two tortillas, you're into like a quesadilla situation, and that's totally different, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, no.
So you're on
Sandwich to me is just got to be. I don't know. Then you get in the whole burger debate. I guess burger's a sandwich, but
burger is it? What else would a burger be? A burger is a sandwich,
see, when I think of sandwich, I think of
like a ham and cheese.
yes,
What you're eating in the garage at graduation parties, kind of
sliced
thing.
meat or a sub sandwich or something like that.
Okay, so then if you know how to build a burger, because we've talked about this, and you're a cheese on top guy, how do you build a sandwich? Is there a different process for a sandwich?
No, not really.
You
Cheese
still
on top.
cheese always goes on top.
Yep.
What about crusts off? Are you a crust off guy?
Nah.
Is Hudson as you start to
Yes.
prepare his summer meals for him?
We've got the little crustable cutter.
No way.
Yeah.
They make one of those?
Yeah. I can't do it right because I put too much peanut butter and jelly on it, so it explodes through.
Okay. But do you buy him the Uncrustables? Because I've worked concessions before, and Uncrustables are the
He does eat them, but he'd rather have the homemade, and then we
a
cut it.
homemade Uncrustable.
Yep.
I did not know there was a crust cutter. Here I
Mhm.
have been struggling my
Circle one.
momhood life
Yep.
with a knife, the old-fashioned way, as they say.
Second hour on this Tuesday morning, a Grind My Gears Tuesday. Appreciate you making us part of your starts. Wherever you're tuning in from, big shout out to all of you. Depending on where you're listening to us from as well, might want to keep an eye on the sky later on today, especially if with some sports going on, some local sports and that, or Little League and that. I don't know. The weather people out there are saying it's going to be pretty darn maybe scary later on tonight. So keep an eye on the sky out there. All right, never know, but be safe if you got to be outside or doing any traveling and such. Let's talk a little. So first hour we talked all baseball. Talked to some Brewers. Wayne on our video stream a little bit earlier too, talking about Contreras, saying the. Let me bring up. I want to get Wayne. I want to quote you exactly right. Wayne say, oh, where did you go there, Wayne? Where did the I'll get it here in a second here, but Wayne saying the disrespect for Contreras is, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. So, I don't know if he's playing with a chip on his shoulder or not, but I agree with you, man. Yeah, the disrespect is crazy. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. Finally loaded up there, but I agree with you, man. I don't know why. I guess I get why. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with the. I hate to use this excuse, but I'm gonna go with the bigger market, smaller market. That's what I'm gonna go with. I know Yelich won an MVP, Bronny won an MVP, but I don't know. It's just it's kind of my or maybe I think also too. Is it fair to say maybe catchers get a little disrespect? Maybe get taken for granted a little bit. I get a little bit of that. I think so. So let's talk a little green and gold here. So OTAs started off for the for the Packers yesterday, but today we get I guess the media gets to check it out, and so I'm sure if you're on like Twitter and the X and all that, you're going to see some photos, some videos, and some quotes and that from the media members who will be over there covering and such. And there's some storylines going on. I mean, I'll just say this: my storylines for I guess the Packers for OTAs. I mean, it's not really going to change from now to training camp unless something happens in the next couple months here. But my storylines are going to be how the number one offensive line looks like right now. What do the coaches kind of view as the number one line right now? Who's going to get the first crack at being in that first group there? That's probably a top storyline for me. I mean, we're going to see the new defense, but again, how much can we just take away from watching clips of a practice, especially in May here? I don't think we can take too much away. So, but it is going to be different. I think the main things that'll be is what I always like look at for early practices like this. If I'm there and I'm watching, is to see the coaching, to see those coaches, how they're interacting with the players, how they're coaching those players. Are they animated? Are they bringing some energy? Sort of thing. I look for that sort of stuff. So I'll be kind of curious to see how the vibe changes, how the energy is maybe a little bit different at these practices. And, just to see who's all in attendance, I guess. But and I don't think there's anybody holding out for Green Bay, not like Justin Jefferson and some others out there across the league. Green Bay's doesn't really have any players in that position, I guess, right now, right? So, but for me, I think those are probably the top two storylines, top couple storylines. What's that first offensive line group look like? Here in May, it's just May though, but we're going to overreact to it. We're going to freak out about it because that's what we do. And I guess first glimpse of the new defense. But again, I wouldn't take away too much from it. The question I threw out, or the question I'm throwing out, is with this wide receiving group here. Historically, Green Bay, I mean, you could go back to maybe the 80s with Lofton, maybe sharp in the 90s, and then it kind of picked up there. I mean, Sharp, Freeman, you throw in Brooks for a little bit there. Jordy, Driver, Jennings, Jones, Devontae, Cobby, all that. Green Bay's had a run of having some good receivers, really good receivers. Packer great receivers. Not all Hall of Famers and that, but really good receivers. Of this group that we have here right now, guys who stepped up last year, and it was a by committee approach last year. Remember, what was it, week 16, 17? Wasn't it Bo Melton was the first receiver to go over 100 yards for Green Bay last year towards the end of the year? I mean, it was kind of a crazy number like that. It was just everybody by committee sort of thing. And I'm cool with that. And I am absolutely cool with that. I mean, you kind of look at, Kansas City. I mean, San Francisco's offense. I mean, you had Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Deebo Samuel. Then you got McCaffrey over there. I mean, studs all across the board. But if you had to buy stock, a future stock into, maybe one of these receivers who's going to potentially separate themselves from the rest of the pack and maybe develop to be a number one or, the number one guy, kind of like what Jordy was, what Devontae was, Jennings was, through Driver, that sort of stuff. If you had to buy a stock into that guy, who do you think it's going to be? You got Watson and Dobbs entering their third seasons. I feel like, and this is just a straight up guess and speculation here, but I feel like Green Bay views Watson as that guy because I feel like if we're going to say, number one type of receiver, it's got to be kind of a difference maker, right? It's got to be a playmaker. And I still feel like Green Bay views Watson as that guy. Big guy, brings a ton of speed, downfield play threat, okay? The big question mark, though, is the injuries, the hamstring injuries specifically. Is he over that? Were they able to figure something out with all that testing down in Madison and able to come up with a game plan? They've got, their new strength and conditioning coach and such. Were they able to turn the tide there? And I hope fans aren't ready to give up on Watson. I mean, we've been down this road before when it's come to receivers and, maybe having a little bit of a down second year here, Devontae and such, even James Jones. So I hope we don't have a majority of fans out there that are just ready to close the chapter on Watson. All right, let's see what he can do this year. So I feel like the team views Watson as maybe that number one guy there, but maybe fans don't. Romeo, where far out though, Romeo? I think he's just Mr. Consistent, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, the guy makes some I think he is a nice safety target for Jordan Love. He's made some sick catches, some back shoulder throws, that sort of thing. But is he like a number one dude? I don't know if I'd classify him as a number one guy. I think he could be a really good receiver, but he's almost to me very similar to like a James Jones type of receiver. Maybe not always the number one guy or a big time difference maker, but just darn solid and consistent for the most part. Jaden Reed on there, I mean, you can view him as a straight up slot guy. Does play some on the outside, especially when he was at Michigan State. He's to me kind of a unique weapon that they can employ in this offense and do different things with. Move him around, maybe even line him up in the backfield at times and such. No doubt he is a weapon. Dontavian Wicks is a guy that a lot of people across the league, a lot of people across the organization are really high on, and they feel like he could develop into that guy and that guy, that number one guy potentially. So, all right, let's play a little, stock game here, future stock. If you had to put some money down, you had to put something down and be like, you know what? I'm going to put my chips on this dude for the next couple years here because I think he's going to be that guy that maybe just kind of separates himself from the pack just a little bit, just a skosh. We're not talking tight ends. We're just talking wide receivers. Imagine it's like it's like the Kentucky Derby. It's a horse race here. Who's going to be that dude that maybe just kind of, or maybe maybe it's the beer races at Lambeau Field. The beer that just crosses that finish line before the other one. Who's that beer, or who's the sausage races at Miller Park, or Miller Park, AmFam Field? Who's that dude? Wicks, Watson, Dobbs, Reed. This one's, I've gone back and forth on this one for me. I've first of all, the one guy that's not in the running for me, and again, I feel like all these four. Let me preface this by saying I think all four are going to be good receivers. A couple of them we've seen that. Few of them, we've seen that before. We've seen what they've been able to do. Dobbs, a couple of years here, Jaden Reed, with his rookie year and such. I think all four. I'm glad all four are on Green Bay. I think they've got some serious talent over there. You look at Jaden Reed's year last year, 793 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. Okay. You go to Dontavian Wicks, who we probably didn't know a whole lot about earlier on, right? I mean, he was kind of a little bit of a slower start, maybe in the middle part of the season. Kind of got a little quiet there, but he ends up finishing the season 581, 4 touchdowns in his rookie year. Romeo Dobbs, who finished the year with 674 yards and 8 touchdowns. And you got Christian Watson. He finished up the year with 422 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm going to go with Reed. Because I just feel like he is a guy that they are going to be able to move around a little bit, get a little unique with him, move him across the line of scrimmage, maybe add some versatility to this. Or maybe the better way to throw this question out there is, because Green Bay didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Who's going to be the guy that crosses that 1,000-yard receiving threshold benchmark this year? Who's going to be that guy? Maybe there isn't, but who's going to lead the team? Or maybe the other better, let's talk this out. Maybe the other better question is, who's going to be the leading receiver of this? If we take away the tight ends, who's going to be the leading receiver this year for Green Bay? Will it be Reed again? Will it be Romeo? Will it be Wicks? Will it be Watson? I want to say Watson. I want to say Watson. I want to say Christian Watson. But the thing that is holding me back from saying Christian Watson is I got to see that hamstring be healthy. I want to say Watson, because I think if he is healthy and he is out there, he doesn't have to be out there every single game. I mean, if he plays 14, 15 games, I think Watson's a guy that's going to get over 1,000 yards. The thing that's just holding me back a little bit is the hammy. Just because I don't know. We're hearing great stuff. We're hearing some positive stuff. That's awesome. That's great. And I hope he has turned a corner with that hamstring injury. I'm not ready to give up on the guy, maybe like some fans are. I'm not. Not even close. And I think Watson has the higher ceiling. When all these guys are healthy and they're all on the same plane, I think Watson has the higher ceiling here. So to me, I'm going back and forth between Watson and Reed. Those are the two I'm going back and forth on. I know there's a lot of love and hype for Wicks, and I think, again, he could be a really good receiver. It's just, I don't know if I'm ready to put him as that number one guy, if that's the phrase we're kind of using here. So I want to say Watson, but maybe since we're playing a little stock game here, maybe I'm placing a safer bet or safer investment and going with Reed, because I think Reed, you could pull him in the slot, you could put him on the outside. I think he's a versatile dude that you can do a bunch of other stuff there. You got and we saw what he did in his rookie year. He's not going to catch anybody by surprise. That's the thing heading into his second year here. But and the other thing is too, it's like I do feel like we're going to get a 1,000-yard receiver in Green Bay this year. Somebody's going to get 1,000 yards. Who's that going to be? Maybe it is a tight end. Maybe it is Luke Musgrave. Maybe it's Tucker Kraft. But boy, man, I'm going back and forth on Reed and Watson. I think Watson has the highest ceiling to be a number one, but I might go with the safer bet of Reed. Just that hamstring is still worrying me. It concerns me a little bit. But boy, do I really hope he's turned the corner, because I think if he has, you're going to see a different element. You're going to see a different. You're going to see a little bit of a different wrinkle, I think, within this offense. I mean, just kind of imagine it a little bit here, all right? So you got Watson. Let's assume everybody's healthy, all right? This is your starting group. Let's have a 3 wide receiver set, tight end, running back. You got Watson on the outside. You got Dobbs. You got Reed. Throw in a Luke Musgrave. You got Jacobs in the back there too, right? With Jacobs, I mean, we talked about it earlier when they signed him. I mean, his numbers on first down is just absolutely ridiculous. If you're an opposing defense, you're probably focused on Jacobs. There's going to be opportunities for these receivers to have one-on-ones. And if you're Watson, and you're healthy, and you're able to display that speed, and you've got the size, you have a chance to expose that. You're going to have an advantage. I think LaFleur can draw some things up to expose that. It's just the availability factor. And then, okay, Watson's deep. If he's the deep threat, you got Jacobs in the backfield. There might be stuff open across the middle of the field. That's where Reed is going to be so explosive at. It's between Watson and Reed for me. The only thing that is just, it's given me a little bit of pause from handing it to Watson is like, the hamstring. I got to know if it's going to be okay. And that's, I don't know, you're betting on a future thing here. So maybe the best way to say is I think Reed's the safer one, but I think Watson's got the more, maybe a little bit more risky, but the potential for more return into it, a bigger investment coming back. If that makes sense. All right, let's take a quick break here. We'll talk with Joey D, talk a little bit more green and gold. But keep your thoughts coming. Keep your texts coming. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Work-life balance. Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, May 24th, with Enhance Eau Claire. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
What's wrong?
My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
ServiceMaster of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
He doesn't just talk sports, he knows sports. In fact, he and sports are best friends. I saw the two of them last night knocking back a couple of cold ones. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
When it comes to getting ready for Memorial Day this weekend, whether you're going to be doing some camping or maybe you're going to be doing some grilling in the backyard and having some friends and neighbors over and such, make sure you hit up a couple of our good friends for all of your supplies. First up, Hy-Vee. Head on over there, grab yourself some Man Cave lights, 4-packs for sale over there in the wine and spirits department. And then grab some snacks. They got you covered all over there too. Plus, they've even got some coolers. And the cooler such to put that Man Cave light in. Grab some Dan Good Burgers over at the meat department there too. And then head on over to our good friends at Mike's Star Market. Try out their new Bloody Mary brats. $1 per package for those Bloody Mary brats goes to help fund backyard dreams. We tried out the Bloody Mary brats. Veronica and I did this past weekend, and they were fantastic. So load up on that. Get the grills out and do a little shopping at a couple of our good friends at Hy-Vee and Mike's Star Market for this weekend. Let's talk a little bit more green and gold here with Joe. OTAs officially starting off with the Packers yesterday. And there's a few storylines going on here or there when it comes to the green and gold and such. But Joseph, I know it's just May. I know it's just OTAs. But what is maybe something that you initially will be kind of paying attention to or looking for when it comes to these OTA practices?
Yeah, Captain, it's interesting because I tweeted out today about Jordan Love's contract situation. One of the biggest things that I'm going to be looking for is Jordan Love's participation. I think Packer fans over the last several years, at the end of 12's tenure, off-season drama was kind of the norm. And I'm anxious to see as Jordan Love works through this contract extension, if he shows up and participates and is active. And again, they're going to be leaning on number 10 now to be the leader of this football team. So I think that's one of the biggest things. I think also it's been reported just how great Jair Alexander has been, both in the classroom and on the field, and the leadership role that he's taking on. So it's really, for me, some of the guys on this team, Elton Jenkins, Preston Smith, those leadership types of positions and players, that's what I'm going to be looking for. And again, the biggest thing for me is what are we going to get out of 10? With this contract extension, is there going to be some drama? Is it going to hold out? Those types of things. So that's kind of the biggest thing for me is who's participating, who's out there, because I think that says a lot about the culture of this football team that Matt LaFleur is building.
When it comes to the offensive line, do you pay attention to see? Because like I look at this, it'd be like, okay, these are going to be the leaders in the clubhouse, at least initially, of how the coaching staff views as the top five. How much should we take away from what we see from the top five offensive linemen at these OTAs?
Oh, I think a lot. I think whenever, I don't care what level you're coaching and playing at, when you have competition, and I think Brian Gutekunst has done a really nice job of generating competition from bottom up. I always talk about it in a business setting, that bottom up pressure from your peers is better than top down. And so, yeah, I think this is a process. And when you look at the offensive line and the guys right now that are competing for spots, yeah, you can take away a lot. You can take away a lot of who's running with the number one. You can take away who's getting the most reps, those types of things. And it's been reported Jordan Morgan is going to start at that left tackle position and give him a chance to compete against Rasheed Walker. And again, I think Zach Tom probably right now stays at that right tackle position. But yeah, I mean, when you look at whether it be the one-on-ones or just who's lining up with the ones, who's lining up with the twos, because, the tackle depth right now is much better than guard depth. And so again, I think you can glean a lot. I think whenever there's competition, it's a process. It's not, you're not living in a vacuum and looking at one thing. You're looking at several things to decide who are going to be your best five offensive linemen. So yeah, I think you can take a lot from the OTAs, especially with the competition on that O-line.
When it comes to the wide receivers, we were talking a little wide receivers before you hopped on and such. And, obviously it's Watson and Dobbs as the veterans heading into their third years. Jaden Reed led the team last year in receiving. They're very high on Dontavian Wicks. If you had to buy a future stock, if you will, or invest into a future stock on one of these receivers, maybe just slightly separating themselves as a pack. I struggle to say a true number one, but maybe that's the best way to say it. But if you had to put some future stock into a guy you think is going to maybe separate himself as from the pack and maybe be that number one wide receiver for this group, who do you think it's going to be?
Well, look, if healthy, it's Christian Watson. I think he's just got all the tools you're looking for from that standpoint. Now that's a big question, the if there, and I look at Jaden Reed as the quintessential slot, and I think it's really difficult to say you're going to make your slot guy the number one receiver. So I think Jaden Reed is a heck of a slot and a great receiver, but I think if Watson's healthy, it's there. But I think really when you look at it and look at how Romeo Doubs played at the end of last year in the playoffs, especially, he really stepped up his game. And now this is a guy going into year three. Now the talent from a complete receiver standpoint, I still think is Dontavian Wicks. I think when you look at the route tree, when you look at his ability to separate, his hands, all of those things, I think he has the potential to be a number one. But I'm going to remove Christian Watson from the equation. And I'm going to say right now, my number one is Romeo Doubs.
All right. Let's chat a little bit with the running back here. Obviously Jacobs and such. I'm curious to see AJ Dillon's role in this. And I know we've talked about it a little bit off and on, and maybe a fullback type of role, maybe a different type of role for him. I don't know if we're going to see that in OTAs here or not, Joseph. But is AJ Dillon, when we talk about these practices and such, is he a guy that could still maybe potentially be battling for a roster spot, do you think?
No question, especially with the structure of his contract. It's essentially a no-risk contract if they cut him, and they don't use this type of veteran contract often, but I think that signaled a lot. And A.J. Dillon this last week came out and said, we had some other offers, but it really made the most sense for me and my family to stay in Green Bay. We all know, he has become the mayor of Door County. And so, yeah, I do think A.J. Dillon is fighting for a roster spot. And I think the more flexible and adaptable and the more multifaceted he becomes. And so then again, you're saying, okay, no Josiah DeGuara. Can A.J. Dillon take on that role? And can he block in space? And can he put a guy like that in motion and seal the edge? And so, yeah, I think A.J. Dillon is fighting for a spot. Now, again, they talked A.J. Dillon coming into camp in his best shape. And I'm excited for this. This is a guy who still kind of is looking at this. I mean, he's on that fourth-year qualifying offer. He's still in a prove-it kind of a mode right now. So this is a guy that might have, you can say, a chip on your shoulder, but something to prove. And if he can show versatility within this offense, I think he has a role there. And I think the Packers are really high on what they saw from Emmanuel Wilson. So there's going to be competition. There's no question. Marshawn Lloyd, in my opinion, is the number 2 back behind Josh Jacobs. And there's also no question that I think Josh Jacobs becomes more of a bell cow than Aaron Jones did. And so, yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. And I agree with you. I think if A.J. Dillon is taking on more of that H-back role, I don't think that Matt LaFleur is going to throw that out there here in May so that everyone's aware of what they're trying to do with him. I think that might be one of those things that we don't really see a lot of until the regular season starts.
I know we didn't have a chance to chat about it last week, but your thoughts on the schedule release? I mean, we knew the teams that they were playing against and such, but anything jump out to you in terms of the Packers schedule?
No, I think it's a good schedule. You look at the what do they have to do after their trip overseas against the Eagles? What's that next game look like? Where's the bye fall into? How many long road trips do you have, and then how do you finish the season? So I think those were the biggest things for me to look at. I think this Packers schedule is very favorable. There's a tough stretch right around the Miami game, and I believe Detroit's right in there as well. And so, yeah, that's a tough stretch. But I think overall it's a pretty favorable schedule. I like the fact that you don't have any 3-game road trips. I like the fact that the bye comes at the right time. And I really like the fact how the end of the year schedule shapes up for them. So, yeah, I think it's a good schedule. Of course, you already start doing your game-by-game analysis now, and you start saying, okay, where are they going to be, what record-wise, that type of thing. Obviously way too early for this. But, yeah, I think this was a good schedule for the Green Bay Packers. And, again, the biggest thing to remember with this football team is that they're going to have a bullseye in their back. They're not sneaking up on anyone anymore. And so I think this schedule kind of plays into that Green Bay is going to have the bullseye and the target on their back. And I think that this is a very optimistic, positive schedule for a football team like the Packers are right now.
Are you already eyeing up some of the key dates that you'll be at, or is that a little too early for you with your tickets?
Oh, no, I've already mapped out most of the year.
All right.
So I was on vacation when the schedule came out, and my wife and I were actually in Europe, and I had to wait until the time change and everything to see it. Nope, I started the wheels in motion, got my hotel set up, got my tickets for my boys, all that type of thing, kind of put to bed. I'm about 80% sure on where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be, and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, already putting the wheels in motion. Got to get the hotel reserved. Got to get who's going to what games. And so, yep, already worked on that while I was on vacation, and almost 80% complete here on May 21st.
That'll boy. All right. Anything before I let you go with OTAs and I know we're approaching the end of May here and such, but any player that maybe we should kind of really pay attention to that you think is maybe on that roster. I know we touched a little bit on A.J. Dillon, but who's maybe a player, maybe a couple players you think that just really has to ball out in these practices and make a name for himself to maybe secure a spot on this roster?
Well, look, let's look at the offensive line, and I think an obvious one there is Royce Newman.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that guy to be cut the last 2 years, dude.
It's really interesting that he still has a roster spot. So I think that's an interesting place to look. I think there's some good competition on the defensive line, and so I think you're going to find some maybe some interesting names there that are in play, and you've got some linebacker depth now, and there's at this point nothing's really jumping out to me. I mean, I guess the biggest storyline for me right now is what is that Jordan Love extension going to look like? And Adam Schefter came out and said that they're far apart. I'm not buying any of that. This deal's going to get done, but with the Goff extension, I just think it's interesting now when you look at the dynamics. So my biggest off-season storyline, at least until this deal gets done, is going to be how the Green Bay Packers structure this new extension for Jordan Love and what it does to the cap outlook for the rest of the team. And so that's my biggest thing right now on May 21st. And again, as we get into June a little bit more and some other things, and you're starting to see some things and hear some things as far as competition, that's when I'm going to start tuning into that. But right now, my biggest thing is, the best thing that happened to Jordan Love without doing a darn thing was the Lions extending Jared Goff. And so that's, to me, the storyline to look out for. And I'm not worried at all that this deal gets done. I absolutely am not worried at all. But I think that really is kind of the number one story right now here in May for the Green Bay Packers.
So what would you say, just last thing here, because when we were talking about the Jared Goff deal, was it last week or such, and we were talking about how it compared, or Jordan Love, I mean, he's got to be one of the happiest guys in the world to see Jared Goff's deal. But we had Packers fans saying, no rush to give Jordan Love a deal, just let him play this out. Then if he does really well, franchise tag him and sign him to a long-term deal after that. What would you say to fans who have that philosophy?
Thankfully, you're not the GM of the Green Bay Packers. That's what I would say. Because look, there's no way that happens. There's absolutely no way, because then you start getting hurt feelings, acrimony. This is a team on the rise. We've got rid of the quarterback drama. All right, we purged ourselves as fans of this endless drama in the off season. And so why put yourself through that again? And no, I think a deal needs to get done. And I think what I'd like to see is a longer term deal. All right. And the reason I want to see that, because, Jared Goff averaging $53 million a year. All right. That's his average. But then you look at Justin Herbert, 52.5, Joe Burrow, 55. I think the average for Love is above Jared Goff, above Justin Herbert, below Joe Burrow. I think that's the average where it comes in at. But what I'd like to see is this to be like a 6 or 7 year deal rather than a 4 or 5 year deal, because then you can take that percentage of cap that the quarterback gets and spread it out over longer time. So that's what I'm looking for right now. But yeah, the best, Jordan Love probably clinked champagne glasses with his agent when Jared Goff, at 29, mind you, the other big deals that are out there, Mahomes 24, Burrow 26, Herbert 25, Jackson 26, Allen 24. Those were all guys that signing them right around mid-20s. For Goff to get this deal at 29, Love's number just went through the roof. So, yeah, I think it's going to eclipse Jared Goff, but not Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm saying this one.
All right, he's Joe DeGuano. Joining us this morning, dude. Appreciate it as always. Welcome back. Enjoy the rest of your week, and hey, we'll catch up again next week. Okay.
All right, brother. Take care, my man.
You got it. There you go, Joe DeGuano joining us here this morning for a little bit. Let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the second hour with some of your texts and comments and all that good stuff. We'll be back after these quick words. Mobile Man Cave is set to make its debut next Friday, 31st, same day that it's Sports Talk Night at the Eau Claire Express game. So check it out. We're going to be doing the program from Carson Park that morning, and then the Mobile Man Cave will also be there for the game that night. So big thanks to Carpet City Flooring Center, our sponsors for the Mobile Man Cave. Carpet City Flooring Center, Toyson Ford also up there, Woods and Water Realty, and the Elbow Room. So our sponsors for the Mobile Man Cave, getting ready to debut that baby. We got the putting green in the back, and Hutsy and I are going to do some other stuff with it once we get it back from adding the sponsor logos on there. So be looking forward to that. Let's catch up on some texts coming here. We got Jeremy saying, I'm going with Watson. When he is on the field, he is a difference maker, and they are doing everything in their power to keep him on the field. When he is on the field, they do what they can to get him the ball, and Watson will have a huge year this year. G-Man a little bit earlier said that he is also going with Watson. Surveyor saying, I don't see the Packers having a 1,000-yard receiver, nor do I see true number one. And personally, I like that more. Every week, another guy steps up and has a big game. Defense cannot focus on one guy, but rather they have to focus on 4 to 6 guys possibly going off. I see 4 guys with 700-plus yards, with the leading receiver being Reed with 850 and Romeo having the most touchdowns with 7. David chiming in here. I think Reed is going to be the leading receiver this year. I think he will be the only one with over 1,000 yards over there. I think you're going to see his versatility explode in year 2. Jake also chiming in here. I agree. I would go with Watson, but the hamstring worries me. So I think Jaden Reed is going to be their leading receiver this year. And I think he actually develops into a number 1 receiver for this team. We've got Andy also chiming in here. I think Christian Watson is going to be the legit number 1 wide receiver, and he's going to display that this year. I know we're all concerned about his hamstring, but if that's healthy, he is going to prove that he is a number 1 wide receiver. We've got a lot of you chiming in when it comes to green and gold stuff here. Kurt is saying, I'm going with Jaden Reed. I think his versatility of playing in the slot and playing in the outside is going to prove why he is the number 1 receiver for this team. Another texter here. We got wide receiver by committee. Next man up, an entire stockyard of workhorses. Don't have to overpay anybody because they all produce. And if a man goes down with an injury, the team doesn't skip a beat. Could that be the philosophy of Green Bay on a wide receiver group? 5 to 6 above average guys you can mold from rookie year, not just 1 or 2 that demand a Brinks truck and hold the rest of the team financially hostage. C-Bomb saying if 9 stays healthy, he will easily have 1,000 yards. Doesn't mean he'll be the number 1, but his big plays will get him there. All right, you can keep your thoughts coming. Hit us up with the text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or hit us up on the video stream too. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So really quick, we just got a few minutes here to the top of the hour here. I wanted to bring up Jim Lazarski's Q&A that he had through the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel about the Bucks here quickly. Let me see if I can bring it up here. For some reason, it closed on me. But Jim been on a program multiple times here. Did a little Q&A on the Bucks and their offseason and such. And there was a couple of questions I wanted to highlight that he answered from fans out there. One, what do the Bucks need to do to win another title? Jim's response, it's not a simple task, but it's one I believe that the team began to address with the hiring of Doc Rivers in January. They need to have a clear and focused training camp to really unlock the Giannis Dame 2-man game, as well as a 3-man combination with Middleton. The offense was loose and somewhat unorganized under former head coach Adrian Griffin. but it was historically effective at putting points on the board. Being able to tap back into some of that while having structured sets can only be good. Defensively, the Bucks improved. Under Rivers, but we're still middle of the pack. Part of that was due to injuries. Part of that was due to roster limitations. While we have to see how general manager John Horst and Rivers collaborate on the role players, the Bucks still have a formidable backline with Giannis and Brook Lopez. That's an excellent place to start. The Bucks switched 1 through 5 and played zone more often than most Rivers teams, and some of that was due to the fact that the team did a lot of that under former head coach Adrian Griffin. The players liked that ability to throw multiple defenses at teams, and that was one of the reasons why Griffin was hired. I think it's important that they keep those tools in the toolbox going forward. Finally, there's a roster building component to this that he'll delve more into later on, but it's imperative that Horse hits on role players that round out this roster. Another question he answered, somebody had asked him, did the Bucks hit their ceiling? Since winning the championships in 2021, the Bucks have won a total of 10 playoff games despite having spent nearly $190 million in luxury tax on top of a maxed out salary cap. On paper, the first or second round is not the ceiling of this team. I would venture to say that the 2024-25 Bucks will be one of the betting favorites to win the Eastern Conference again, as well as the NBA title. I will go on record to say that they should be a favorite for those things, but we're closer to the 5-year anniversary of that championship team than not. So right now, that skepticism has been earned. So essentially, Jim saying he does not believe that they've hit their ceiling, but that this upcoming year is definitely a big season coming up for the Bucks here. For a salary cap situation here too. This is where I always go to Jim when it comes to NBA salary cap stuff, because the NBA salary cap is so freaking confusing. NFL, I've got no problem. I love trying to figure out the NFL salary cap and all the different nuggets with that. NBA, it's really confusing. But somebody had asked Jim, what is the Bucks salary cap situation? He said O&D asked for some clarification on what the financial situation the Bucks are in this offseason. It is true that Chris Middleton missed out on $2.1 million in bonuses, games played, and team advancement in the playoffs, but all bonuses are counted to the newly created aprons, whether they are earned or not. The league does that so teams can't, quote, hide salary and bonuses and somehow escape penalty if they're not met. What Middleton missing out on those bonuses means is the Bucks' luxury tax bill is slightly smaller. The Bucks are a second apron team, which means they face some severe roster building restrictions, such as not being able to aggregate players, i.e. 2-for-1, in a trade or sign any free agents for more than the veteran minimum salary. So, yeah, not only does John Horst have to figure out and hit on role players this offseason, maybe improve the bench there a little bit, he's got to do so with not a lot of wiggle room, not a lot of cash to spend, and maybe not a lot of trades to be had. And let's face it, that's because of a lot of the moves he and the franchise, the team, has made the past couple of years here. So, again, this goes back to the narrative that we've talked about for a few times here. This is a huge offseason for the Bucks, a very huge offseason for the Bucks, and a very difficult one. Like, I'm very curious to see what they can do to improve from last year. Is it simply just having Doc Rivers and his staff for an whole offseason? I think it's a little bit more than that. All right. 2 in. We got one more to go. We got a busy 8 o'clock hour coming up at about 8:25. We'll talk to RJ Cardinal, talk some college sports with him. But we kick off the next hour Kicking back up with our Express Talk. GM Sammy coming up after these news updates. All right, third hour kicking off right now on this Tuesday morning of May 21st. Big thanks for tuning in. Wherever, however, you may be tuning in from. Coming up at closer to the bottom of the hour, we'll catch up with our good buddy RJ Cardinal from the Zone in Madison. We got to solidify our friendly little wager coming up here for our Northwoods Leagues team because, well, it's going to be Madison versus the Express coming up on opening day on Memorial Day. So we gotta solidify that wager here. Maybe my guest here now, Sammy, General Manager Sammy, can help me come up with what we should ask for, a little friendly wager here. What got any ideas? What we can maybe ask for? Because I know we're gonna win.
I don't know. Like
So-
there's 4 games.
Right.
2 at Carson Park.
Yep.
2 in Madison.
Yep.
Do you make a trophy?
Ooh.
That's bragging rights.
Yeah. RJ, we're going to do that. I know RJ's listening right now, probably. So I think that's what we do. Yeah. The traveling trophy.
Mm-hmm.
So
you would just have to get it made before Monday.
Yeah. Or, we award it at the season's end or something like that. We can do that. And
if
if
you do
it's
end at Carson Park.
right. So
Start
we know
at the best,
we'll
end at the best.
I've got that beer drinking trophy there from 2008 that we could temporarily use. That's one right now. It might be falling apart.
Yeah.
So over there. So can you believe it's going to be opening day in less than a week right now?
No, it
Yeah?
feels like we've been talking about May 27th for months, and now May 27th is Monday.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
6 days away.
Yeah.
6 days away.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, it's going to be up against Madison. And, I know you and Craig were on when you guys released the schedule and talked about that. But, now more people are getting ready for baseball in the Express. And that's kind of one of the common things that we've been hearing from a lot of people, too, is like how cool it is that Madison's coming. You guys are going to Madison. You got Wausau, later on the schedule, too. A couple, I don't want to say new teams, but new teams part of the schedule.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
there.
I mean, we haven't played Madison and Wausau in years.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, it's something that Craig was really advocating for as the league's getting bigger to be able to play some of those closer teams. So it'll be fun. Hopefully we can continue these and we can start some new rivals with,
Right.
with the Woodchucks and with the Mallards or whoever the Mallards are at the time that we're playing them. They have a lot of alternative identities, but yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I think I know Craig and the rest of the ownership group are going on Tuesday to Madison, and then I'm trying to decide if my husband and I are going to make the trek over and
go down there.
check out the duck blind.
Yeah, definitely. I know our farm guy Bob, he's going to go down there. He's a Madison native too, so he's like, oh, I'm going to be going down to those games there too.
That's
so
awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got opening day coming up here on the 27th. It's always a big day there, and it's a quick turnaround. We were talking a little bit off the air, the team wise. I know you mentioned Dale's working a lot right now to get the ballpark ready and such,
Yeah.
and then it's like when the guys come in, it's like a handshake. Here you go, and we start playing right away.
Yeah, it's always funny. I got an email from I've just my 3rd season as GM, and I've never gotten an email before from a player asking me when he should report. So I called Dale up yesterday morning. I'm like, hey, this player, he emailed me asking when he should be reporting before the first game. And so I got a good laugh out of that. But yeah, guys are going to start showing up any day. Some might be coming like Thursdays, Friday. Then others are going to come Saturday, Sunday. They'll get their jersey, some BP over at Momentum, take some pitching and tosses over at the ballpark on Sunday, and then get ready to go for 5:05 on Monday.
On Monday, right away there. I mean, Dale's back. Coach Vic Cable's back too. I mean, the crew's back this year, right?
Vic just stopped down the office yesterday for me to print his yearly pitching papers that he needs.
Nice.
I always buy extra cardstock because I know that he's going to come in and need some pages copied for him. So yeah,
that's awesome.
It's gonna be this is 19 years for them.
Can we have 19 more too? Over there, just in case
you can talk to them about that,
right? Exactly. So, let's talk a little bit about opening day.
Yeah.
With Monday, it opens up at Carson Park too.
Yes.
Over there, which is exciting.
It's
guys
always
get
fun
opening day
to start the season off at home.
And what are some of the stuff planned for opening day?
Yeah, so we've got a t-shirt giveaway.
Nice.
Thanks to our friends over at Close Up.
Yep.
So those are gonna be for the first 200 fans. So get there early. Last year we did a hat giveaway and the line was a mile long.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna want to miss that. We have so much new cool apparel too in the pro shop. We have stuff tailored to not only Express fans, but to like Carson Park baseball fans, to Eau Claire Bears fans. We're gonna have pennants.
Nice.
May not be ready for opening day. There will be pennants.
There will be a pennant in the mobile man cave too. So
I don't know. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's up there in the pro shop, and we've been working really hard. We've said some sneak peeks and stuff about what's been going on in left field for last 8 to 10 months. This was a concept that Dale had thought of a couple years ago with shipping containers after seeing what the Mankato Moondogs had done with their outfield, like, hospitality area. And so we finally were like, let's just do something. So we
Can I play the breaking news?
absolutely.
All right, so we got breaking news here.
Breaking news, we're introducing the Whiffley Zone. So Whiffley has generously helped us out with putting together this left field area. It's going to be kind of the cool spot to be at the ballpark this summer. We're going to have cornhole. We're going to have giant Jenga, if my husband makes it, which I haven't told him that yet. And
another breaking news.
Right there. Giant Connect 4. We've also partnered with Sunny Days here in Eau Claire. They're donating those really low arbidate.
Oh, yeah.
Those chairs.
Yep.
Those are really hard to say.
Yep.
And some gas fire pits.
Nice.
So we're going to have some of those over there. And then we're going to have high top tables, picnic tables. And then in the shipping container will be all of our canned beer, plus our wine from Riverbend Winery.
Nice. So is that going to be like another ticketed area, or
this year? We're just testing it out, see how it goes. But this year it's going to be open to the entire ballpark.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's going to be the place that you want to be down that left field line. So I recommend getting there early. I mean, if you have a GA season ticket, you could sit there all year long.
Right. I mean, especially anybody who's been to a Carson or Express game, Sunset, that might be the perfect one behind you this time, right?
Yep.
So that's even cooler, a little bit more comfortable that way too.
And to top it all off with the Whiffley Zone, on Fridays we're going to have food trucks.
Ooh.
So
nice.
we've been working really hard with some food trucks here in the Valley. So our first one's going to be Friday the 31st.
Sports Talk night.
Which happens to be a very big night.
Yes.
At the ballpark. So we're going to have Tasty Trolley and Richard & Co. Donuts.
Ooh.
And I've heard that Richard & Co. Donuts are making like an express-themed donut.
Nice.
Yeah. And then on June 7th will be the Lunchbox.
Okay.
And then July 26th will be Bubbles Barbecue.
Oh, nice.
And then we're going to end it on August 2nd with Eat O'Clock and, again, Richard & Co. Donuts.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, you guys got some sweet daily promotions like almost every day of the week coming up here too. Can you kind of go through some of that with us?
Yeah. So Tuesday is going to be Freebie Tuesday. So we're going to do giveaways on Tuesdays. So we've got about, six giveaways that we're going to be doing on Tuesdays. I don't want to say what they are because they're surprises, but I think they're pretty cool.
All right. Some sweet stuff over there.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then on Wednesdays, we have our wine night. Thanks to our friends over at Riverbend Winery. We'll have discounted wine until the 5th inning, along with Buck Night. So we'll have, discounted hot dogs, brats, domestic beer, and sodas. And then on Thursdays, our Thirsty Thursday deal. So discounted domestic beers. And then Friday's Food Truck Friday. Then Saturday's going to be our pregame bands.
Yes.
So we're going to be opening up the ballpark an hour early ahead of when we normally do. So gates are going to open at 4:35 on Saturdays, except for July 6th and July 6th and July 20th, and just 4th of July weekend, Country Jam.
Yep.
We don't know what to expect for those weekends. So every Saturday for the rest of the season, though, ballpark will open at 4:35. Bands will start between 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending on how many people are in attendance at that point. But they're going to be playing over in that Whiffley zone as well.
Nice.
So starting off on Friday or Saturday, June 1st, is Dylan Martinson. All of these bands and artists are going to be local to the Chippewa Valley, and just outside the outskirts of it. And then gotta pull my schedule out. On June 8th, we have Lassos and Lace. June 15th, which I think is going to be one of the biggest ones we have, is Uncommon Denominator.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They're very excited. July 7th is Tip and Back Ridge.
Okay.
July 27th. And then August 3rd, Jackson Taylor. And then we're going to end it with the Sixes on August 10th.
Oh, nice. That's a solid lineup right there.
Yeah, and that's all going to be sponsored by Morgan Music.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then is it family fun days on Sundays?
Family fun days on Sundays. So kids can run the bases, and then right after that, we're heading over to Valley Burger with all the players.
That's right. This is new this year too,
yeah.
right? Yep.
So hang out with us at Valley Burger after the game on Sundays. Get to know the players. They're gonna have a special menu over there, but only on Sundays. But you can go after every game and turn in your fan deck or VIP wristband. And get a discount over there.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a lot of cool new stuff happening this year.
We have some more stuff too.
We got some more stuff?
We have more stuff. I think we got a lot of stuff with food this year.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part going to the ballpark, right? Is food.
Like if you go on the right day, you could go home with a lot of free stuff.
I love free stuff. Anything free is worth saving up for.
Absolutely. So we've got the Culver's winning inning coming back.
Okay.
So if the Express score in the 5th inning, everyone in attendance can go home with a free custard.
Nice.
The first double that the Express hit, a certain section will go home with a McDonald's McDouble.
Wow.
And then new, thanks to Chick-fil-A, if the Express steal 4 bags in a game, a certain section is going to go home with a free Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Oh boy, that's going to be a popular one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I did confirm with Dale, like, hey, this is what we averaged last year. What do you think it should be? He goes, 4. He goes, we'll see if we're as fast as we were last year.
I like it. That's awesome. That's a lot of cool new stuff happening.
It's awesome.
And a lot of fan interaction too, to kind of be involved in the game that way too.
Yep. Yeah, you really gotta be paying attention. So I know that when the doubles are hit, people are like, hey, where's my McDonald's coupon?
Yep.
I know that now when that 4th bag is stolen, people are like, hey, where's my Chick-fil-A sandwich?
Well, it's like, I don't, if you've been kind of watching like basketball with the NBA, like the fans wanting that free chicken and then players are missing free throws for all
just
that.
going crazy for it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a huge thing right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's great to be able to work with so many new places in the community as well, like Valley Burger and Chick-fil-A. And then just continue our partnerships with Culver's.
Yep.
J Ray's, Mancino's, Park Ridge, Close Up Apparel. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely. I'm looking at it's like that to me is the start of summer, like when we can go back to the ballpark at Carson Park. And I know there's been high school games in CRBL, but when you're on the fan deck or GA or best seats or whatever, now the left field over Whiffley zone is going to be that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
over there.
It's going to be really sweet. There's only going to be canned beer over there. And then obviously the wine, but Dale has been working really hard just to make that area as cool as can be. We've brought up all of our trophies.
Oh, nice.
They're very heavy. And he's got some old mitts in there. And then we're just going to try and just make it as Express themed as possible.
So it's almost kind of like a man cave type of vibe there. I like that.
Yeah.
Now I've got some ideas. I'm going to have to talk to Dale about that. I like that. That's really cool. So to open up, you're going to be at Madison on Monday. Or Madison's going to be here on Monday. Then you're over there on Tuesday. But your first week of the season, you're going to be at home the first 3 games during the week.
Yeah,
Monday, Thursday, and Friday, right?
Yeah.
And Saturday. And Saturday too.
Probably the most we've ever been home before. And not only are we home, but there's high school playoff going on.
Oh.
So it's going to be a really busy week at Carson Park. Just got the word that, North and Memorial, where their seats are going to be.
Yep.
So they'll both be home, and Emmanuel on the 28th. So it's going to be a triple header on the 28th.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to come out and support some local high school baseball.
Absolutely.
Come
That's
out on the 28th.
Big time baseball over there too. And I know Legion's kind of getting ready to kick off for
And then the Cavs are playing the next day on the 29th. But the Cavs are also home before us.
Okay.
For the Billy Noss game.
Okay.
On the 27th.
That's right. That's right. The Billy Noss game on the 27th. I'm glad you mentioned that over there too. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but kind of maybe a refresher too. The jerseys that you guys are going to be wearing this year. Let's revisit that here. What is it? The Valley? The Valley jerseys over there?
Those are going to be the Saturdays, and we play at home like 8 Saturdays. Dale's been asking me to see if the league would allow us to wear them on the Saturdays that we're on the road. And I'm looking at the schedule yesterday, and I'm like, that's like 3 Saturdays that we're not home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll have the Valley. They're technically AFA blue. So those will be worn at home on Saturdays. And then we have just some new orange and white jerseys that we're going to be wearing at home and on the road. They're pretty cool. So But with those old jerseys, we will be selling them in the apparel store.
Really? Okay, G-Man, if you're listening right now, he already said he's going to be there Friday. He wanted me to give you a heads up.
Oh, good. I'll be looking for him.
I would imagine he's probably going to add one to his jersey collection.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's at 100. He's got to be over
gosh.
100 now.
Yeah, well, so we're going to have the black and the orange.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Hudson's going to notice that, and he's going to want to grab
It
one.
may be a little big.
He'll hang it up on the wall in his room. That's what he does
He
now.
could get a 3 jersey for DQ.
Oh, I got to tell him that now. I'm going to have to tell him that. He's going to miss DQ.
Oh, I'm
but
going to miss DQ
he'll
too.
gravitate towards another player for sure. Absolutely. When you look at his roster, speaking of, players in that, any returners that we kind of, I know usually we do, but any off the top of your head that we should kind of pay attention to coming up? And we got some local kids coming back too.
Dylan O'Connell's coming back.
Yep.
Kale Hopkey's coming back. Nick Vitsenko. Briggs Richards, another local. And then there's some more that are coming back, but they're not coming back to the second half of the season. But those are the ones off the top of my head that I know. Oh, Bronson Rivera. And he's bringing 2 Hawaii guys with him.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how they like it. It's always fun just to see how they they do with our weather over here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I know too, popular for birthdays and that. Do you still have openings for some of that?
That's been really busy the last couple of weeks. So yeah, get them in, especially if you're looking for the first couple of days. That way we can get y'all situated. But yeah, dates are still open for the rest of the season too.
And for little league teams to kind of help out over there, you still have openings for that?
That filled up.
That filled up?
A couple months ago.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's always fun. This year it's brought to you by Culver's.
Nice.
So it'll be the Culver's Youth Team of the Night. Yeah, that's one that we just never have an issue with filling up. It's just such a cool opportunity.
Right, exactly. And seeing those kids out there too, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Absolutely. So we got anybody interested in tickets? What's I know we kind of talked about that a little bit last year too. What's the easiest way or the best way for
the
people
best
to get
possible
tickets?
way is probably to either stop by our office or call us and buy them ahead of time. There's just a lot of third parties where you could end up getting tickets and you're going to spend triple the amount that you would if you just bought them from us or on the Northwoods League website. So just save yourself the hassle. Give us a call. You're going to save online fees as well. So it's just easier. Then we can just email them right to you and you know that you got them.
Exactly. Also too with this year, is it going to be back for this year, the mobile ordering?
Yes. Yep.
Mobile ordering is back this year too?
Yep. And, we've got a good amount of staff this year. So we're hoping that maybe we can start introducing in-seat delivery with that catch.
Nice. That's going to be awesome there too. So anything from last year that you're looking forward to maybe this year? Maybe it was something that you tried or something that was new last year or something you're expanding upon this year or just in general this year that you're really excited about? Obviously Whiffley with over there, but
from last year, I mean, I think just bringing back that like a blue and just kind of introducing that as like a new alternative colors has been fun. We don't have too much blue apparel this year, but like I said, just the different types of, themes that we have going on in the apparel store with, the Express. We have a couple Valley stuff, the Bears, and then just Carson Park in general.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be cool. And then something else new this year, we're partnering with Mayo Clinic Health System on June 15th for a Cancer Survivor Day. This is anyone that's ever been diagnosed with cancer, whether it was yesterday, today, tomorrow, whether you're in remission or you're still going through treatment. The American Cancer Society says that anyone that's ever been diagnosed with cancer is a survivor. It's something that also just touches near and dear to my heart. And so on June 15th, we will be honoring cancer survivors. So we have a link up on our website under the community tab, where you can go and you can fill out that form. You get free 2 GA tickets, and then anything after that, they get a $5. It'll be a $5 ticket. But then they also get the opportunity to throw out a first pitch.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're hoping it's going to be 100 people that want to throw out a first pitch.
Right.
Might take a little bit of a while, but it'll be really cool to be able to tell all of their stories, how long they've been battling or how long they've been in remission for. and just, honor all them. It's been a hard year for our community with the health system, and Mayo Clinic just really wants to be able to honor all of those that have been fighting this terrible disease for, however long it's been.
Right. I mean, that's going to be a big day too, because it's also a band day,
Yep.
right? Pregame band over there on Common Denominator. I'm looking at the page right now. So it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Over there.
It's going to be an emotional day.
Emotional day too. Yep.
But it'll be, it's going to be special.
Absolutely. That's really cool that you guys are doing that this year. And shout out to Mayo for that
absolutely.
too. So for anybody, promotion wise, I mean, you guys got it all listed up on your website. If you're looking at different events, coming up on your schedule, or sponsored nights or anything like that too. So that's all listed up on your website.
Yep. And say, on Facebook especially too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know who's doing it, but very creative with like the video where you went around town about the
that was Pete Knutsen's class.
That was Pete's class.
That was like part of their final project. They had to go around campus and ask people what these team names were, and I just got a kick out of it. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah,
the Ducks Who Love Cheese.
The Ducks Who Love Cheese.
Playing.
Yep. Well done. Well done. But that's something too I've noticed the last couple of years. I mean, more community stuff like that, and just having fun on social media and Facebook and Twitter and all that.
Our intern
too,
group this year, they've been having a blast trying to just think of different videos and stuff in the office this last week. So
perfect.
I'm sure they're talking about vlogging their days, and they're quite the character this group is. So it'll be fun.
Are some of the interns from out of town? Are they?
We have a lot that are like from in town by going to like UW Claire.
Okay. Yep.
Some go to Stout. One goes to Purdue.
Ooh.
One went to Duluth. Oh gosh, and then one goes to the University of Miami in Ohio.
Okay. Yep. Ben Roethlisberger U is what I call it. That's the only way I know. I think Wally Zerbiak went there too. So
yeah, but yeah, we've got quite a bit of blue golds and stouts this year. So
good deal. All right, so opening day, gates open 4:05.
Yep.
For Monday, Memorial Day, taking on the Madison Mallards.
The Ducks Who Love Cheese.
The Ducks Who Love Cheese. Yeah. That's what we're just going to refer to them now as when I talk to RJ here in a few minutes. The Ducks Who Love Cheese. And also, don't forget, too, we've got the second game of the season is going to be Sports Talk Nights.
Third game of the season.
Third game.
Third game.
Yeah. I'm getting confused. That's
going to be a long week.
It's going to be a long week. Yeah, exactly. So third game of the season, but that's the first one against the Badlands.
Yes. And the last one against the Badlands at home.
That's right. Because then, you go there?
Yeah, we'll go there the week of the 17th.
Yes. All right. So that'll be fun too, to see another new team.
Yeah.
Over at Carson Park. So
it starts the record of do we beat them or do they beat us? And can start keeping track.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Sammy, there you go. Opening day is nearly upon us. And then, by the way, too, on that 31st, I know I've mentioned a few times, we're actually going to be doing a show from Carson Park that morning. Bright and early. Even if you don't want to get up that early, we've got the mobile man cave. We'll do it from there in the parking lot or something. So we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I want to find out, though, if Carson Park's haunted. So maybe that might be the time, too.
It's spooky.
I've heard that before. I've heard that from people. That is kind of spooky.
I think it's more just spooky with people up there.
Yeah. We might have to go on a ghost hunt during the show. We never know.
Yeah.
So, Sammy, appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
And looking forward to our chats every Tuesday throughout the season. And I won't be able to talk to you about it. So best of luck on opening day.
Thank you so much.
And we'll talk to you after that, okay?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, you got it. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll have RJ Cardinal from The Zone in Madison coming up in just a couple minutes.